I think I did this right. I'm hoping that my Wi-Fi is decent, and I went on a couple of seconds early to make sure everything went right. So let's make sure that everything is all right first. So I don't even see comments. Great. So I don't even know for sure if, let me see here. I gotta get situated. Well, I see some of you are watching, but I don't have comments. So that kind of stinks because, oh, wait a minute. I do have comments. Yay, I see you guys. Okay. So I'm not going to look at the comments again because it makes me nervous and I want to make sure I don't mess things up by paying attention to the comments. But if you guys have questions, just ask there. Um, I usually turn my messenger off on the weekends and evenings, so definitely ask me here on this page so I can make sure I answer anything you're confused about. I am so excited to be here, guys. I'm thankful that the ladies that put this together asked me to be here. Anytime that I can share what I've learned in the last 8 years and help you guys out is, I'm gonna scoot over here. I'm at my in-laws' house and I'll explain to you why, but I'm in the bedroom because there was a dog barking out there and it was distracting. So but anytime I can help you guys out, it fills my cup. Whether I'm making money off of you or not, this has become one of my true passions is sharing with everyone. And when Karen came to me and asked me to speak about this, I was like, I got this because this is what I've lived for the last, I don't know, 7 months. So guys, I'm Andie Teeter. I'm a superstar director with Scentsy. I joined August of 2012. I am a six-figure income earner, and I tell you that not to brag. I tell you that because I want to inspire you to let you know that it is possible. Even if you're a hot mess like me, it's still possible to make that kind of money in this business if you work hard, you're consistent, and you don't give up. I am an ocean and a beach lover. I love the mountains. I love kung fu movies. I have a deep connection to animals, mountain biking. I love reggae music. I drive a Jeep Wrangler. And oh gosh, what was it? July of this year, my husband retired. In the midst of all of this COVID stuff, my husband retired from the military after 20 years, and our life was turned upside down. We decided to go on an adventure and live in our RV for the last, I don't know, 7 months, however long it's been. And now we are in Florida at my in-laws, and we are getting ready to go to Key West to live for 10 months, 10 more months in our RV while our house is being built in Central Florida. And here I am, and my whole business has changed. And guess what? I still earn level 3 of the incentive. I still sold 2 to 4,000 a month. I still recruited 2 or more people a month. And I'm going to tell you how, and I'm also going to share some inspiration at the end, and I hope I don't run over, but I have some things that I've been thinking about. I first want to tell you guys that something that I always say when I train is that I struggle like any of you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with panic attacks or anxiety, but the last 6 to 7 months, I've learned that I like stability in my life. As a child, I didn't have a lot of that. So I've learned that at my 42 years of age, that part of my anxiety and my panic came from comes from now not having stability. So when we were on the road, I was struggling. I didn't have an office. I didn't have the things that I normally had to run my business. And I knew that if I did the basics and just went back to the basics and I forgot about all this stuff, whether the shapes of my stupid samples were right. I didn't even do samples. And I'm not telling you guys to stop doing them if that's something you enjoy, but I had to really go back to basics with my business because not only was I struggling internally, but I knew that if I didn't, my business was not going to thrive. Um, this year was hard for everyone, right? And we let the hardships of the world and the anxieties of the world and all these things that were happening flow into our business. And whether we could have stopped that from happening, we are women and we're emotional creatures. But what I'm asking you guys to do along with me is to really think about the anxieties of the outside world as being outside of our bubble. And we need to be inside of our bubble right now. And our bubble is our family, maybe your religion, our business, things that are important to us. Anything outside of that bubble, it's really not important right now. And we can't let it come inside of our bubble and ruin the good things that are happening. This business is like any other business in the world. It's no different except for the simple fact that it's easier to start our kind of business, which means almost anybody can go out there and say they own a business. And then they get kind of sour when they have to actually work. And I'm like, of course you have to work. You have to work for anything. If you didn't have to work for your money, we would be considered a pyramid scheme, okay? We do not want to be considered a pyramid scheme because we're fighting that evil too with, people that think that our business isn't legit, right? So this is no different than any other business. You have to treat it like a business, and you can't just stop and go on to another business or have two or three businesses and expect to be super successful at all of them. It's like riding five horses at the same time. You just can't do it. You have to ride one horse, right? Um, I hear all the time excuses about why people can't have success, why they aren't having success. And then I ask them, well, what trainings are you watching? What books are you reading? What YouTube videos? What videos on the workstation? What are you doing to network? What are you doing to grow your network? And it's funny because people say to me all the time that they're a bad recruiter, and they actually believe that about themselves. And then I ask, well, how many new people did you talk to this week? I mean, we are in touch with literally trillions of people in the world because of social media these days. And we have access to meet all different kinds of friends. If you crochet using alpaca wool and that's your thing, you can find a group for it on Facebook and you can meet hundreds of other, maybe even thousands of other people crocheting with alpaca wool. I'm picturing all of y'all with all these alpacas like using the wool right off the alpaca. Anyways, you get what I'm saying though. You can meet people anywhere at any time these days. Gosh, I think back to Avon and when I was in college and I was doing Avon, they wanted me to go door to door. We don't have to do that. But when people come to me and they say I'm not good at recruiting, and then I'm like, well, how many people did you meet this week? How many new people did you meet? They say, oh, none. And I'm like, well, this is network marketing. How do you expect to be successful if you're not networking, right? So, what are the basics in this business? The basics in this business are what got you here. Most of you guys are boss babes. Most of you guys are leaders. You have a team of one or more in Scentsy. You're here because you want to learn more and be better, right? I'm going to tell you a little bit about being better and inspire you with some stuff in a little bit, but I am going to tell you that all you need to do is go back to the basics. You hear it all the time from people that have had success like me, that are making six figures like me, and it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, and I don't know why, because it really is all about basics. And this is what I did living in my tiny RV with my family on the road. I left my customers, a lot of them wanted Scentsy, you know, um, where I was, they wanted it locally. So I did pass those customers on to my team that I had grown there. Some of them stuck with me, thankfully, but it's all the basics. What are basics? PRV. Well, how did I do my PRV simply? I took care of my customers I had. You know why? It's way easier to take care of your customers that you have rather than going out and finding new ones. I loved on them hard. I asked them for referrals. I sent them up with Scentsy Club so I had consistent income coming in. The next thing I did was I networked. No, I wasn't around people I was seeing since we were moving week to week, but I networked with the people that I knew I could. The lady at the front desk at the RV park. Created micro relationships with people, and I found ways to keep in touch with them via social media or texting or whatever. I branded myself. I let people know I sold Scentsy. How are they going to know? And I tell you what, guys, it worked because I wore my Scentsy hat into when we went to register for an RV site one week, and a lady was like, "Oh my gosh, we all love Scentsy. Guess what? I'm like, I'll bring back a bag party tomorrow. You guys, you can collect all the orders for people. You get the free stuff." I ended up leaving there with $500 in orders just because of that, just because I was wearing a Scentsy hat. The next basic is recruiting. We have to grow our teams monthly. You can't recruit 1 month and then stop for 3 and then recruit in 3 months and then stop and recruit in another 3. Consistently, every single month, your team has to be growing. How are you going to do that? You're going to network with people. You're going to build your network. And the last thing is your team mentoring. When you have a team, you do have to mentor them. And I'm not saying you're not going to have moments. For the last few months, it has been really hard for me to mentor. And I'm not going to lie, I was not in the headspace where I felt adequate to tell my team how to have success because I felt like a big loser and I was down in the dumps. And I understand that you all feel like that at one point or the other. But you know what? Because I had built our team strong and our leaders were strong, I knew they were taking care of their own teams and I knew that I didn't have to worry about them. I don't need to have control of them because they have control of their own lives. I don't need to be a control freak. They can do things on their own and I was thankful for that. Because it let me have time to think about as a person what I needed in my life and what was going to make me happy and be a better leader in the long run. So here's the thing, you know the basics. You all got here doing those basics that we just talked about. Some of you are willing to do it, and some of y'all are sitting on the couch watching Maury, watching Netflix, and not doing what you need to do. And guess what? For 5 years of my business, I didn't watch TV. I didn't watch Netflix. I used that time. I wasn't scrolling through Facebook just to sit there and do it like a blob. Everything was done with intention. Okay. Now I have time. I built my business strong and sturdy, and I have time to do those, maybe watch Netflix again or do some of those things. But sometimes, especially if you want to still give time to your family, sometimes you have to let go of things like watching Maury during the daytime when you should be working your business, right? Some of us have gotten overwhelmed because of the huge success Scentsy has had, right? Raise your hand if you feel burnt out or overwhelmed. I think all of us have, and we've let, like I said in the beginning, life in general, all the stresses of life seep into our business. We have let Patricia on our team, who always complains about something, and Karen, who always has her opinion. Sorry, Karen Fettis. I hate to use people's names, but you all see what I'm saying. Not all Karens are like that. But we have let them have their opinions so strong on us that we have let them overwhelm us and we have frozen. Um, Part of being a leader sometimes is that everything is your fault, right? Everybody thinks it's your fault, whether it's your fault or not. It's probably not. Most likely, it's not your fault. You can be the best leader and do the best things, and there's always somebody out there that makes $2 a year off of you saying, well, she only cares about the people she makes money off of. Well, if you really want to get down to it, this is a business, right? I don't have time to listen for an hour about, how your big toe's swollen and you can't work your business when I have Tiffany over here who really wants to work her business and she's dealing with a lot of hardships too, and she's out there working her butt off and she's having success. So why wouldn't I work with her? Why wouldn't I want to talk to her if she's positive and you're negative, right? You're always going to have those people, but let me tell you something. If you're letting those people be your compass and guiding you, you're going to be burnt out. And that's what's happening. We're letting all these Patricias and Karens be our compass. We're not our own compass. We're not using our own compass. We're letting them decide what our worth is. Um, we're letting others' expectations on us control our life. Even though we know we're being a great leader and we know we've done the best that we can, their expectations, it's not your expectations on yourself, it's their expectations they have on you. You're letting that affect. So those 2 people out of 50 that feel that way, what about the other 48 people who love you and think you're being a great leader and um, value you? What about them? They need you. Do not focus on those 2 people that say that you're not a good leader, okay? Because you are. I know you are. You know you are. Don't let them do that to you. This is the time of year where you will find hurt individuals who failed look looking for someone to blame. They're looking for anyone to blame. Oh my gosh, okay, I have to wrap this up. And they are going to look at their leaders first. Do not let Steffi, my sponsor, said something to me last week that was very powerful. And she said, hurt people hurt people. And it's so true. We get so wrapped up in the position of leadership, we forget what it's all about. It's not about being in charge, having control, micromanaging. You're not a manager. As a leader, you're here to inspire, uplift, cheer people on, shout them out when they do something right so that they do it again. You are here to inspire by example, by showing up to do your job good and do it consistently. If you create the environment like that through leadership, they will want to stay and they will want to do more. I promise you, if you reach out in desperation to people because you want to hit your numbers and you're just thinking about yourself, they will feel that come through that message, come through that phone call, come through that coaching call. And I promise you that they will not feel valued and they will not feel like they're in the right place. But if you reach out, and I've learned from my mistakes, I'm saying this because I've done this, right? But if you reach out with empathy and true concern and you build relationships with your teammates, even through hard times, they're still going to thrive. We have to take ownership of our compass. I'm finishing up right now. We have to take ownership of this compass that I talked about, right? We have become lost in the wilderness because of all these other fears and anxieties. We need to stop time traveling into the future and worrying about things that probably won't happen. Stop the distractions that are distracting us from the things we really need to do. Do not let other shiny objects, other new companies that are coming out, because let me tell y'all, Scentsy's a household name. You don't want to start a business where nobody knows the product, because let me tell you, you want to talk about being a salesperson, you have to be a salesperson to sell something new. You've got a great product, you're in the right place. Don't let shiny objects ruin your business. I've seen people time and time again have a great business thinking that they're a failure. They go out and join another company, and then they ruin everything by doing that. We have let anxiety, fear, and worry be our compass for the last 7 to 8 months or almost a year now. Start letting hope, bravery, and positivity be our compass. I want you guys to close your eyes real quick with me while I finish up, and I want you to picture your compass. I want you to close your eyes and picture what your compass looks like. Give it qualities that bring you comfort and show strength. It might be a certain shape that your compass looks like, have certain embellishments. It may sound a certain way, or smell a certain way, or feel a certain way. Feel it in your hands. This compass is here to give you breath, guidance, confidence, and it is your compass. No one else controls this compass, guys. No one else can hold it. It is your compass, the one thing that you can control, and you choose your direction that you're going in 2020. This is such an important moment in your journey. Are you going to fight so hard for what you've worked for? My hope for you all is something I posted the other day on Facebook. For this year, even if it doesn't get better right away, meaning the world, even if it doesn't get better right away like we hoped for, don't lose hope that it won't soon. Send positive vibes through the world using your words and actions. Promise me you'll be better and do better. Promise me that you'll be more empathetic towards others. I will promise you that I will do the same and learn by my mistakes. And even if 2021 is another thunderstorm again, promise me that you will take time to dance in the rain. I love you guys so much. And I hope that if you didn't learn to go back to basics from this, you at least learn to get your compass and let yourself be the guide on your journey. Let your compass get you out of this wilderness that we're in and back on track on our path. I love you guys. I hope that someday in the near future that we all can meet together again and celebrate this hard year or two that we've had. But until then, make the best of this journey. Love your business. You've come this far. You didn't come this far to just quit. So get those thoughts out of your head, regroup yourself, go take a bubble bath when things get frustrating, go join a yoga class or do yoga class online or do something to get your head back where it needs to be. Because I need y'all here. We need to have the best 2020 that we can possibly have. And guess what? It trickles down from us leaders down into our team, and that positive thinking will keep you flowing into 2021 and 2022. And we are going to crush the numbers that we already crushed above and beyond last year. But this year we're going to keep it going. So give me an amen. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for showing up.